I have been a Republican all my life, and I am now voting for Beto. I'm not a very good Republican anymore. I always say the Republican Party left me, not I didn't leave them. Don't let people vote. Make it very difficult to vote. Oh, so many issues. They're just mean. I just feel like they've gotten mean. I like to stand on education and health care for people. We're a rich state, and we can take care better than being taken care of now of people who really need help. All my life, I have tried to listen to both sides, and I don't ever agree with both sides completely. But on balance, then I cast my vote, and that's on balance. While I don't agree with everything, he has my vote.
Another day, another lifelong Republican flip by Beto O'Rourke. Now, first of all, you should probably know that Texas's full abortion ban just went into effect this week. And if you think that just because Texas has historically been a red state, that the people there are in support of an abortion ban, I'd point you to another red state, Kansas. The tide is turning right now in Texas, just like it is across the U.S. And the more we promote people like Beto, the better the chance not only of him becoming governor is, but of him helping down ballot races too. Meaning local candidates, lieutenant governor, attorney general, and U.S. House races all stand to benefit the more Beto benefits. So if you want to help ensure that Beto can continue meeting voters across his state, then please click the link right here on the screen or in the post description and give a few bucks to ensure that the people of Texas can continue to hear exactly what Beto stands for and how he's the only candidate for governor looking to protect women as opposed to using them as props in some extremist religious endeavor. Now, as for the video clip we just watched, here are a few important points. This woman explains that she didn't leave the Republican Party left her. And let's just remember for a moment what the Republican Party used to stand for. They claimed to be the party of family values, then they turned around and supported Donald Trump, the guy who paid off porn stars and escorts for affairs. They supported Roy Moore, an accused pedophile. They supported Matt Gaetz, who's under investigation right now for child sex trafficking. And they supported a guy like Eric Greitens, who was accused of tying his hairdresser up and forcing her to perform oral sex. But sure, party of family values. They claim to be the party of states' rights, and then during the 2020 election, while trying to illegally subvert the election results, they all signed on to the Texas lawsuit to discard the election results in Georgia, Pennsylvania, Wisconsin, and Michigan. So I guess those Republicans are states' rights, except when other states don't follow the will of their own states. They claim to be the party of fiscal responsibility. And what happened the last time Republicans took power? They added $7.8 trillion to the debt. And for what? A tax cut that overwhelmingly favored millionaires and billionaires. A tax cut that would ultimately dry up federal revenues, leading the U.S. to lose more tax revenue than any other developed country in the world in 2018. And so when the pandemic hit and our deficit skyrocketed, now you know why. Because God forbid we don't burn the entire economy down to the ground to coddle millionaires and billionaires. They claim to be the party of jobs. Now, not only did Trump lose the most jobs of any president in modern American history, but in my entire lifetime, there has not been a single Republican president that's created more jobs than a Democratic president. Republicans still parade themselves around as if they've got this monopoly on jobs, when not only do they not have a monopoly, they don't have any winning stats to point to against Democrats. In fact, in the last 3 decades, here's what the job situation has looked like. George H.W. Bush leaves office with a 7.3% unemployment rate, Clinton leaves office with a 4.2% unemployment rate, then George W. Bush leaves office with a 7.8% unemployment rate, and Obama leaves office with a 4.7% unemployment rate. Noticing a trend? Trump leaves office with a 6.3% unemployment rate, and Biden brings it back down to 3.5%. In other words, Democrats are constantly cleaning up Republican messes. And since I've been alive, that has never not been the case. And finally, Republicans claim to be the party of the police. And yet, well, I'm not sure I have to remind anyone what happened on January 6th. I'm pretty sure it was only one-party supporters who managed to bludgeon police officers, and if memory serves me correctly, they weren't the Democrats. So look, I know that there are probably a broad range of ways to support the cops. I'm pretty sure trying to murder them isn't one of them. So look, Republicans will pretend the Democrats are extreme or radical, but that's just to compensate for the fact that the only extreme party here, the only party that stripped women of their bodily autonomy and coddled millionaires and billionaires and pretended that climate change doesn't exist and refused to take action in the face of gun violence, is the Republicans. So when they point their fingers at the left, it is nothing more than projection. Because remember, every accusation is a confession. And I'll just leave you with this. If you enjoyed watching Beto flip one Republican voter, then you'll really enjoy him flipping all of these.
Last time I voted Republican, almost all the way down the ticket. I voted for Trump. I'm so excited to change that vote. So the thing that tipped me over the edge is reading the GOP platform. There is so much that I find hateful. It's way too extreme. That children should be protected. They should be safe going to school, going anywhere. Women should be protected. We gotta stop targeting people and just protect everyone. I love Texas, but it needs to be better. Absolutely. I was a Republican in 2020 and now I'm voting for Beto.
I have been a Republican all my life. I came here to hear Beto for the first time. What's important is the children in the schools, the education, the property taxes. I would love to have a better break than what I have now. And I also love what he said about possibly making cannabis legal. Because of my arthritis and body issues, cannabis would be a great help. I am a great-grandmother, and this is the first time I am voting for Beto and as a Democrat.
As an educator, I voted for Abbott years ago. This year, I'm voting for Beto. My wife and I are both teachers, and our daughter is starting her first year. We don't want to be political pawns. We want to be seen as the profession that creates all others. We want to be trusted. We want to be respected. We want to be valued. His support, his understanding of what teachers are dealing with, mentioning teacher pay. Out in these rural areas, the tax base isn't there, so the salary isn't there, forcing people to work 2 and 3 jobs, especially retirees who, as he mentioned, haven't had that cost of living raise for 18 years. That's unacceptable. He's not a politician. He listens to people regardless of their partisan stripes. I haven't voted for a Democrat for governor in Texas ever, but I will this year.
I'm definitely a Reagan Republican. Reagan, George H.W. Bush, and Dwight D. Eisenhower are my Republican heroes. It's a privilege to have somebody like Beto O'Rourke come and talk to us. We've never had a governor here.
Spent my 32 years here, so really, did you hear that? That's
32 years.
And I was impressed with the gentleman. One, he's a very intelligent, logical, interesting young man, and it's nice to have somebody like that run for the governor of the state of Texas. And I do appreciate his visit here more than I can tell you. It was equally important that we had so many people here today. So I wish him the best, and I think he will probably get a lot of votes here in Sabine County.
I used to be a Republican, but you've changed me, man.
Yeah! And just following him little by little on Twitter, listening to his messages and what he says, the policies he wants to change things. Honestly, it's just, he changed me. It's all because of Beto. That's where it started. My mother-in-law and I actually have a sister-in-law. They're both teachers. They've been doing it for years. So just hearing what he wants to do and really get more in their pocket, especially what they put up with, they deal with nowadays, not knowing the safety of their own classroom. I mean, the fact that he wants to change all that to me speaks volumes. That's protecting my family. Our current governor, Greg Abbott, I feel like he's more about himself and what benefits him and his party versus Beto. I feel like he's more about Texas and the actual people of Texas, the middle class, the working people, and he's here to get more for us.
Used to be a Republican, but he's coming over. Yeah! This is the guy. He's the real deal right here.
I'm a former Republican, but I will be voting for Beto all day long.
I voted for Trump in 2020, and here in 2022, I'm voting for Beto O'Rourke. I've grown up with a speech impediment. I have a stutter, and it has held me back a lot in making my voice heard. I have been told that I need to stop talking in class at home because it's a burden on others. But as I've grown older and known that that is utter bullshit, I have learned to voice what I think matters and have a voice for all of these things that are good and right and true, no matter how long it takes me to say it. And knowing that there's a governor here, a future governor, that is an advocate for those with and disabilities like me is huge. You raised a Republican. This is the year that I'm going to make my voice heard at the ballot box.
Just made my day.
I'm voting for Beto O'Rourke.
Before you go, couple things. First, if you want to support my work, the best way is to subscribe to this channel. The subscribe button is right here on the screen. And second, if you want to see and hear more from me, check out my website, briantylercohen.com. That way you can get links to my podcast, merchandise, ways to donate to voting rights organizations, and so much more. The thumbnail is also right here on the screen, so go check it out. And as always, thank you so much for watching.